So the last time we did this with the Spider-Man set, you guys really seemed to like it, so I figured we'd try it again, but with a different theme to see what happens. If you're unfamiliar with these types of videos, normally I have a 6-part series running along my channel, where we take the idea of one massive project and we split them across 6 videos, with each part detailing a new part of the model, and then at the end do a big reveal where we show off the full mock. We currently have 2 giant multi-part projects on the channel, being the Daily Bugle series and now the completed Civil War mock series, and one smaller mock video in this same style, being the Spider-Man Homecoming Final Battle. And with my current No Way Home project scheduled to come out later on this month, I figured between the time that we're not doing big multi-part projects, we could do some smaller projects, where we go through a similar sort of process, going through the plan, minifigures, etc., but with a much smaller mock, which means we can get it all done in one video. So without further ado, let's jump into this project, a Harry Potter chessboard display. Now, for those of you who haven't been on the channel for 7 or so months, you would know that I used to like Harry Potter a lot. But with my faith in LEGO Harry Potter LEGO sets declining in the last year, I've been wanting to get my teeth into another mock project. As we all know, my Hogwarts Express was one of my favourite things I built to start this channel. And what better than a scene from one of my favourite films, the first original Harry Potter film, The Philosopher's Stone. Now, I've had a few projects in mind for this, anything from a full-scale Quidditch tower, to the key room, to the chessboard. And although I'd love to make a full-scale chessboard, I think for this project I just want to do the one chess piece, specifically the one that Ron rides, and then make a display stand that looks somewhat like a chessboard and also has positions for Harry and Hermione to stand either side on their own squares. So jumping into the blueprint of this model, I really wanted to make sure that I had a display stand. Not just having spots for Harry and Hermione to sit, but also a full-on stand that didn't just make it look like it was a chessboard on the floor. It was very important to me that this mock had some form of detail around the sides, maybe some little flame pieces either side, especially because I had plans for doing things later to this mock that you'll see in a bit. And then of course I wanted to try and make this as minifig scale as possible, considering I plan to use the chessboard pieces from the original Harry Potter set that came out in 2021. And here's the completed blueprint. I really like the way that this is turning out, however I'm still unsure whether I want to make these squares removable in case I decide that I want to do more pieces in the future. But I think I'm going to build some sketches on Studio and we'll see where we go from there. I ended up sketching a few different designs out here, and it was actually very difficult to determine what scale I wanted to work in here. Obviously I wanted to get as close to minifig scale as possible, but the thing is, minifig's proportions are incredibly vague. People like to work in a multitude of different scales and call it minifig scale. I think what I'm going to do in this case is just get close enough. And I've had the benefit of going to Harry Potter Studios a few times now and seeing these chess pieces in real life, and I must say they're bloody huge. So with a lot of time and effort and a bit of inspiration from Lion Bricks, I think I've matched a pretty damn good scale. And not only that, I'm incredibly happy with the base that I've made, and although I have done a few sketches of them being singular bases and triple bases, I think I'm going to go with the triple bases just because I feel like they'll be a bit more secure. I think if it ever comes to doing a full-scale chessboard mock, I don't think I'll do any of this special stuff around the sides, purely because I think it will save on a lot of piece count. As for the minifigures of this mock, I think it's incredibly obvious to see what we're going to do. We're just going to use the ones from the straight up chessboard LEGO set. That original set in my mind, again, just turned out to be one of the lackluster ones, but as I've had this mock in the back of my mind for a long time now, it was always one that I knew I was going to make, so didn't end up buying the full-on chessboard. However, I will say that those minifigures are damn near perfect. These 3 Harry Potter outfits are some of my favourite from the Philosopher's Stone, and I'm so glad that LEGO finally did decide to release them. I actually made renders of these 3 exact figures before the original chessboard set was even talked about, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to compare my renders to what the actual figures look like, and talk a little bit about how I would change these figures to make them more perfect. First off, I just want to say that LEGO did a damn good job making these minifigures. Starting off with Harry here, I'm really glad they made the jumper dark red, and the only thing that I did differently on my figure as opposed to this figure was change up the face print ever so slightly. Now I know LEGO won't really do this for some of their mass-produced figures, it's way easier for them to just use the exact same face print, but during the wizard chess battle, Harry, Ron and Hermione get cut up and bruised, and thought it would be cool if LEGO did do this. I know they've done kind of beaten up face prints before, so it would have been very nice to get at least one exclusive face print instead of the just generic young Harry face. As for Ron, I don't really think there's anything you can do. I depicted Ron in almost the exact same way, using the exact same face print. The only difference I made is that I thought his shirt was more of a dark browny colour than a dark grey colour, but I remember going back and forth with some of my friends on the Discord call, about what colour it should be, so it doesn't surprise me at all that LEGO chose to do a different colour than I did. Now, as for Hermione, I think she has the biggest changes compared to her LEGO counterpart, but as you can see, the green jumper remains to be pretty much identical to LEGO's version. As you can see, the main difference is probably that skirt piece that I decided to use with the short legs, which funnily enough LEGO have now decided to do in their upcoming suitcase set. Now, I know my skirt is depicted as brown, but when that suitcase set finally does come out, I will be replacing my short legs with those dual molded short legs, as well as that skirt piece from that set. Another major difference that I did compared to the LEGO one was the face print. Now, I decided to try and make my face print look more like the Hermione that came from the CMF Series 2 pack, as I believe that is the best Hermione face print we have had from LEGO. Now, I know some people really don't agree with me on this, and they think that that face print looks awful, but I personally really like that face print, so I decided with my version that I was going to do that. Obviously, the real version, like I say, we can add that skirt piece in a few months, but right now, it's just going to have to remain the same until we can figure something else out. As for the build, it was relatively stressful. Now, I didn't have instructions when I built this, hence why I haven't done any form of time-lapse, but I have indeed designed instructions for you guys in case you guys wanted to take on this model. If you head over to my website, tommycbricks.com, you can find a page called Ron's Night, which will take you directly to this model, where you can download instructions and the part list, or just buy the model straight from our store. And I must say, with this model finally complete, it looks really cool, and I'm super happy with it. The scale turned out to be 100% what I wanted it to be. There are jumper plates here, so everything is studded in, and there's even a turntable built into the board so the chess piece can spin freely, so I can get the right angles that I want for either displaying it or taking photos. But there's one thing missing. Now, thankfully guys, this video is sponsored by Light My Bricks, and they're providing me some lights for projects like this coming up very soon, and this is what I was talking about in the plan when I said I had more to do. And the reason I wanted to build that additional display on the bottom was so I could include lighting. Light My Bricks has been a mad supporter of the channel over the last year, so I'd greatly appreciate if you could head to the link in the description and go and check them out if you wanted to go and light up one of your sets, or you just wanted to add lights to your model like I'm doing here. Specifically, I'm going to use this. This is a flicker effects board, the board specifically used for doing fire effects. We're going to feed some of these 15cm bit lights straight through these parts. We'll wire these LEDs into what's called an expansion board, which is basically just a hub, and then we'll connect this hub to a flicker effects board and then give it power. It's always important to check your LEDs as you're going around, so I recommend one of these tiny little battery packs. A components pack that I built up straight from the Light My Bricks store, a link of which will be in the description below. If you've already got a set that already has a light kit available, just buy the kit and it will come straight to your door and have pre-made instructions designed by Light My Bricks to make the installation process of installing your LED kit as easy as it possibly can be. Thanks again for sponsoring this one, guys. As you can see, I've managed to hide a lot of my cabling directly in the model in this special designed cubby hole. Underneath the model there is a gap there, and that was specifically designed to hold all of my spare cabling and have one wire coming out the back that leads straight to the battery box. But after about an hour of building and then another hour of installing these LEDs, we ended up with this. And this is it. You can tell I've really gone hard on this. Probably spending a little bit more than I should have done on this model, but I just went a bit crazy. I really liked how this turned out, and it's one of my favourite scenes from this film. I even got a little bit more carried away in the sketching process and started designing some more chess pieces, which I don't even know if I'm going to make. You'll have to let me know in the comment section below if you want to see videos on these other chess pieces in the future. But as for this model, you can see I designed that full 3-man stand that not only holds the Harry Potter figure, the Hermione figure, but also the Ron on the Knight figure. This horse model turned out great, like I say, using a little bit of Lion Bricks' design matched with a lot of my own modification, and that stand just looks incredible with these lit up candles either side, really emulating the fires that you see around the chessboard in the film. Not only that, I feel like this model is perfect for a display, as it comes with that nice Harry Potter plaque that's printed that you normally would get on the mosaics, almost making it feel like a proper 18+ set, similarly to something like the Darth Vader's chamber, and before we got the official chessboard model, something I could have seen LEGO attempting to bring out as something like a Harry Potter 18+ set. These 100 or so 1x1s, elevating the board past the plaque really does give it a nice depth, making it look a lot more interesting than just a flat wall, and really making that plaque pop out of the middle of it. And one of the decisions I'm really glad that I made was to use the metallic gold pieces. Yes, there is gold edging around every single piece on the original Harry Potter chessboard, and I'm so glad I decided to use the more expensive metallic gold pieces instead of the pearl gold option, even though it would have made the model much cheaper. Overall, I'm super happy with how this mock ended up, and if you guys enjoyed this 6-part series style mini mock, please let me know in the comment section below, and why not check out the other one that we've done about Spider-Man Homecoming, which I'm sure you guys would also like. Click the screen, I'll see you in the next one.